Activity with Don Allen III live. Today we're going to be working on making DOC OCK, an AR filter that you can wear so you can become DOC OCK, just like the villain in the Spider-Man universe. I'm not going to make the mistake of playing the audio this time, otherwise we'll get another copyright flag. So I restarted the stream on YouTube right now. But essentially what we're going to have here is this. We're going to have the ability to play, to have these arms come out of your back, and they're going to animate, and they're going to have claws and stuff. And then furthermore, it's because the Spider-Man movie is about to come out, and I think this will be something that people would want to wear because it'd be like, before the movie comes out, people might want to be one of the Spider-Man characters, or in this case, the Spider-Man villain. And yeah, and then we're going to be using Cinema 4D, Lens Studio, and Adobe Substance 3D Painter. I had a template one that I made last night that kind of works. It kind of has some arms that are moving. I used this so I know in principle that this should work, but I just did it with really ugly geometry, nothing I'm proud of, mostly because I just want to make sure the function was there. And now that it's functional, we're working on making it pretty. So my friend Jeetesh Singh sent over this 3D model that they made, and they made this awesome 3D model of an arm. And right now we're about to animate it and rig it up so that we can bring it into Lens Studio and wear it on our back. So welcome to the live stream, and I'm happy that you're here. Let's get right back to it. Okay, so we are streaming live on YouTube, and we'll just continue right where we are. Thank you for those that were here, were able to hear the intro. But DOC OCK, it's this character from the Spider-Man universe who is a villain, and they are going to be in the new movie. And so it's the right time to try to make some artwork or some kind of experience that's related to it, something that people could use to tell their story or their interests or their fandom. So I'm going to start off and set all of their head bindings to about negative 160 degrees. That way they're all kind of at the same starting position. Awesome. And yeah, so we'll start off with that. Next, I'm going to go to File, Save Project, just so I can start saving my work. And let's take a look at the UVs. Are these UV'd ready? I don't even know yet. Let's take a look. Let's go to our UV editor. Oh my goodness, Jeetesh Singh actually did the UV coordinates already. Look at that. Thank you so much, Jeetesh. You saved me a lot of time by creating UVs for the main body here. Is that all of the body? Let's double check. Okay, so I jumped the gun. You did UVs for most of them, but not all of them, and that's totally fine. We can work with most of these. So I'm gonna grab these arms, for instance. That one looks, perfect. Actually, there's a little bit of an overlap of the UV coordinates there. So UVs are the two-dimensional surfaces of 3D models. We care about UVs when we want to paint something with a lot of realism or style or life. So without proper UVs, when you try to paint a 3D model, it's most likely going to not behave the way you want it to behave. It's going to break. So I kind of wanted to assess the UV coordinates before we go too far into this. It's important to kind of think about these things before you get, too far along. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the UVs of these. So this one's really close to being done, but I see this weird little overlap of polygons happening, and that will cause problems for me later, I think. So I'm just double checking what polygons. Oh, actually, this is fine, huh? Just double checking. I don't know what polygon that one is. You see it? Which polygon is being selected here? I don't know. Oh, I'm on the wrong side in general. Let's try that again. Yeah, polygon. Okay, so it's a polygon that's really hidden. So that one's totally fine. And I guess that's not a polygon. That's one. Okay. So this actually is really, really good UV unwrapping done by Jeetesh Singh. So I'm going to leave that segment alone. I don't think this one was unwrapped properly, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a UV projection and go to packed algorithm. Great, so now that's unwrapped. We unwrap our models when we want to paint them, and I definitely want to paint them and give it a lot of love and attention. I try my best not to have polygons overlap each other. Oh yeah, it's a super clean model. Jeetesh Singh made this. I'm going to say their name many times throughout the stream to give them proper credit. You know, if you ever, if I'm ever like doing something and you have an idea that might help with my goals, let me know because you know, in this case, I'm going to work with Jeetesh because they started to make a really cool model that was aligned with something I wanted to build as well, and so now it's a proper friendly collaboration. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I basically have done the UV maps now of all 3 segments of the DOC OCK arm claw. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete the other 2 that don't have the UVs. Now the reason why we're doing that is because that will save us time and resources. Where if we can use the same exact geometry and UV coordinates as another part of the model, when we bring this into AR, it's not going to have to load in 3 times the data. It's just going to load in 1 set and it will mirror that stuff to the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this arm. And then I think with regards to geometry, I think the deal is an equilateral triangle, I think are all 60-degree angles apart from each other. So let me double check. No, actually it's not. I'm getting my math wrong. Maybe it's 120. Let me double check. Is that 120? Here, it's not letting me select all of the, there we go. So we got the whole arm there. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it. So Control C, Control V, and then I'll grab all 3 of these segments. And I think we need to rotate it to 120 degrees. I could have my math wrong right here. Let's see. I think it's 120 degree spin. If it's an equilateral triangle, I think that's the spin. And is it? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Cool. And we can always go to a top-down view. These also help me kind of stay organized. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Great, so that's 120, and then let's make another copy of the properly UV whatever claw. I'm gonna Control C, Control V, and then with the same idea, grab all 3 segments and rotate it, I guess another 120 degrees, and then we'll move that in place over here. So this little change is just so that all 3 of the claw arms, claw hands, they all share a really solid UV coordinate system. So when I bring this into other applications, the texturing won't be as big of a concern because they'll all share the same UV coordinates, the same texture tiles, and that's going to just help in general with everything. So I'm just kind of eyeballing here, eyeballing where how far to push this bit of geometry. Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. There we go. You say Control C and check other arms. I I didn't do it that way because I wanted to ensure that all 3 of them had identical UV coordinates. So I didn't want to do an unwrap process again because every time you run an unwrap algorithm, it's not identical. It makes subtle changes each time you do an unwrap. So I figured since I don't want some weird subtle change to happen, it was easier for me um, to just guarantee that it's going to work by copying the geometry over. I'll rename these claw 1, 2, and 3. So this is claw underscore 1, and now this is claw, claw, oops, claw underscore 2, and we have, of course, claw underscore 3, 3 claws. Great, now we're going to do the UVs for the arm. So I'm going to switch this back to perspective. Here is the arm. you can see that the arm is pretty much the same exact set of geometry over and over again. So a bad way to unwrap this would be to use our auto unwrap and then to simply click packed. Because what that's going to do is it's going to place all of that model onto one sheet. And actually it's pretty clean and organized. However, because these shapes are the same shapes over and over again, we actually are going to lose a lot of resolution if we make each of those polygons texture tiles this thin. So instead, what you want to do is turn on overlapped packing, overlap identical, and overlap mirrored islands. When you do this, it overlaps the geometry that share the same exact properties. So for example, notice how now almost all of these, if we grab like any section in here, oops, let me try that again. If we grab like any section here, you're going to see that many sides are now being selected at the same time because the polygons are being overlapped. And this is very useful when you want to ensure. Yeah, so you see that. So now all of those faces are all sharing the same UV island over here, which means if I paint this in Photoshop or Substance Painter or Blender or Cinema 4D, if I paint this in Procreate, all of the parts that are orange right now are going to share that texture. And the same is true for this. The same is true for that. And the reason why we can even do that is because Jeetesh Singh did such a good job modeling this using the same amount of topology, using the same exact geometry, that we're able to save a lot of memory on our computer by having all of these share the same textures. So just wanted to share that. Okay, so I'm going to save our work because now our model is UV unwrapped and it's modeled and it's happy, which means once we get to the painting phase, we'll be able to paint this model and all of the materials will transfer really nicely. So now we can move into animation. So I'm going to switch it to the standard default layout. And they have a new button in Cinema 4D version R25. Right here, you click on it, it shows you your keyframes really accessibly. And what I'm going to do is go to each of the three claws, 1, 2, and 3, and set a value for its P rotation. And then we're going to go to 10 frames into the future and set another value for the P rotation. And then we'll go to the first one and we'll reduce the value to something less. So I'm going to go to my auto key, turn on the A, and we'll rotate the arm. Oh, I made a mistake. I forgot to change the pivot of each claw. Oh, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Okay. You gotta not do what I just did there. All right. I'm gonna delete claw 1 and 2. So what I just did wrong was I forgot that now that we've kind of reorganized the way this claw works and we did all the UVs, we also want to ensure that the pivots, oh wait, the pivots are there. Oh wait, let me go back. I think I had the wrong tool selected. Let me go back to pivots. That looks good. That looks good. What about this one? That looks bad. That looks bad. This one, that looks bad. And that looks bad. Okay, so we screwed up claw 1 and 2. I'm going to get rid of them. Let's go back to claw 3 and try that again. So to try it again, I'm just going to do Control D to duplicate. And then I'm going to go to rotate and see, oops, try that again. Control C, Control V to copy and paste. And then I'm going to try to rotate it 120 degrees. And we'll move this bit of geometry over here and make sure that this time it doesn't pivot differently. So let's turn off our pivot control and see if it rotates oddly. Okay, it looks like this one is still going to rotate oddly on all 3 segments because it's keeping the world space normal instead of switching to local space. I think I switched it back to local space. So there's 2 ways of rotating objects in 3D. There's one called way of animating called world space, which kind of sets the coordinates of anything to the whole world. So if it knows like the world plane, like the work axis, like this grid back here, if it thinks that that is always the x-axis and if this is always the y, if you animate on world, you're animating to the whole world environment. So this could be really good when you're like animating cars and stuff and you want them to stay aligned with worlds. But when we're animating a claw or any animation that's going to live on this like other dimension right here, you want to animate locally if you need the access for it to change per part. But I got an even easier idea. I'm just going to focus on animating one claw and then get all that animation looking pretty. And then once we're happy with that, then I'll just duplicate that final result to the other two spots. So let's turn on our auto key, and we'll start off with the claw closed, which is where it is. And then at frame 10, we're going to go ahead and open up that claw. Shablam. Let's take a look at that. Boom, claw opens up. I'm going to do this thing called Overshoot, which is where we have it kind of go past what you want it to hit. So by doing this little curve and adding a curve that goes up a little bit, it kind of does this little thing like a little overshoot. Overshoots are great for animations that you want to emphasize. So instead of just getting from point A to point B, we want it to accelerate. So I'm going to change the shape of this curve. That's actually a little bit too explosive, so let's bring it back down. There we go. Even that's a little too explosive. I'm going to turn that back down a little bit. Bring back that curve. Maybe a little bit more explosive. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the acceleration of the claw opening. And let's make the curve a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, I like that. So also, what I'm going to animate is the other parts of it in the scene. Another part is also in the R value here. Turn off our, oh man, get off. How do you turn off Chrome notifications permanently? I keep trying to turn them off and somehow they keep coming back on. It's irritating. Okay, anywho, let's continue. I'm going to set a value for the whatever rotation this is. I don't know what value this is. And switch back to keyframes. I'm going to go to frame 1, set some values. Weird, it's not letting me set any values. Let's try that again. Weird. I'm not sure why it's not giving me the option to animate parameter. Weird. Yeah, I don't know why. I think Inverse Kinematics Rig would be more flexible. It will be, yes. Yeah, it would be. I'm going to do inverse kinematics for the arm, but I don't want to do it for this part. Yeah, but I see what you mean. It would be friendly in this case. I'm just scared of adding too many inverse kinematics rigs and having it break. But now that you said that, I am kind of having I do see how this could be very helpful in this instance. So let's actually take your advice, Buna, here, and I like your idea of doing an inverse kinematics rig. So let's give it a go. I'm going to switch to an orthographic side view and create 3 bones for this bit of geometry. So I'm going to go to character, go to the joint tool, and then holding control, we can click where we want the joints to connect to there, and finally there. These are the bones. And I'm going to rename them to segment 1, seg 2, and seg 3. We can try it. We can try this. This might actually work. And then I'm going to grab the set of bones, and then I'm going to grab all of the geometry responsible for those bones. So I might just merge all this together. So do connect objects and delete. It's one claw now. And then we have these 3, we have this set of bones, and we'll connect these bones underneath the claw, get rid of our root, grab all the bones in order, then grab the claw, then go to character, and then choose bind. Okay, let's take a look at how it rigged up our single claw here. And you should be able to rotate single bones now. And there will be some bleeding issues that happen with weight painting, so we'll go into our rigging context. I don't know why they took off the rigging button. I rig a lot, so I want to turn off new layouts and bring up the old rigging layout. There we go. So since this is a mechanical part, we don't want a gradual weight paint at all. We want 100% weight paint between these values. What I mean by that is the weight paint is these colors that you see. So right now, everything that's green is being influenced by that bone. And this is fun, except it's inaccurate right now. Because right now, it looks like this segment is starting to get green when it shouldn't be moving by that bone at all, because it's a very mechanical joint change there. So what we'll do instead is go into our claw and go into segment 1, and we'll go to our weight paint material. Oh, I guess they call it weight paint, or they call it weight tool now. And then under the weight tool, I'm going to turn off projection and turn on absolute strength. Now we can hold Alt to get rid of the influence of a part of the bone. So what I just did right there is I'm painting on what areas should be influenced by this bone. In this case, I only want the red part to be influenced by that bone. Same is true for segment 2. I only want the green part and not the top. So I'm erasing it and then adding the values to 100% value inside the green zone. And then finally, in segment 3, it's just testing. Sorry about that. Oh, that sucks. My audio's been out on the YouTube stream for I don't know how long. Thank you, Carlos Salgado, for letting me know. Sorry about that. Okay, so can you share a screenshot? Oh, this is for After Effects. I need it for Cinema 4D. Why are keyframes grayed out in Cinema 4D? Modifying grayed out keys within a take. Oh, it's about takes. Got it. I hate takes. Let me get rid of the takes and go to main take. We should be able to animate now. Nope. How do I delete the takes? There we go. There we go. Okay, I hate the takes manager system. It was the takes. So yeah, sometimes in Cinema 4D, all the parameters to animate are grayed out, and it has to do with this takes field. If you bring in another rigged character, there's all these other bones and stuff that come with it sometimes. You want to make sure that you're on the main one if you want to. If it's grayed out, you have to be on the main control to grab your characters again. All right, so I'm going to set values for the position. Oops, that's rotation. Let's set values for the position of this goal. And then at frame 10, let's set some new values about over here. And we'll turn on auto key in a second so that we don't have to keep hitting the keyframe button. There it is. So now we get this animation. And that's already looking really great. Next, we're going to create a little bit of an overshoot by going into these values, grabbing them, and just having them, well, I guess in particular, just having them curl out a little bit. It's kind of like it rolls out now. And let's also change the looping spot to something shorter. I'm just going to do a little bit of an overshoot on the X. Oh, no, we're not. We actually just want the Y to do the overshoot. I'm also going to change the acceleration out. Okay, let's give it some more bounce. And we'll grab this goal here and just place it into this spot there. Okay. Cool. Let's loop out a little bit longer so it holds for a moment there. And then we'll have it do a little bit of a pop back to create a little bit of a anticipation. So it's going to go out, maybe out and back a bit. All right, so it goes out and back. Oh, we got some friends here on YouTube saying, oh, hey, what's up, Krunal? Welcome. Hey, Don, YouTube is muted. It's on. The message is held for review. Yes. Hey, Christian, welcome. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Rigging and reading comments are a struggle. I should get some kind of tool that can read out comments out loud during a stream. That would be helpful. If anyone knows of any tools like that, please let me know. All right, I'm going to take this endpoint here and go to the curve on the y-axis. Wait, no, on the blue axis. Cool. I'm just exploring some options here. Maybe a little bit faster to close the cloth. Hello. Yes, we're streaming live onto YouTube and Instagram right now, showing you how to go about making a cool Dr. Octopus filter. Oh, whoa, I see a little bit of a turning thing happening there. Oh, yeah. Screwed up. Oh, interesting. They start off on different axes. So this should probably be over here. Oh, interesting. It's like all three of these values got moved. Let me go to a top-down view and see if I can flatten the curve so that we don't get any bending that we don't want. It's a little slow. Yeah, let's speed that up. And then let's have it open back up again to about here. So I'm copying these keyframes over here to get it to close. Oh, too fast. A little bit slower there. No, take those back. Let's get it to there. Too fast. We need a little bit of a break in between there, so let's slow that part down. Nope. Too slow. I don't know what to do with that part yet. Let's just slow that part down. Let's give us more keyframes to animate on. So it opens, closes. Maybe let's keep it in the closed state just a little bit longer so that we can kind of appreciate the claws. Or even maybe we do like a pulling animation with it, so maybe the pull vector comes in a bit. Maybe we'll speed that up. So it goes in. Let's have it overshoot a little bit. And overshoot means we're just going to go past the maximum before it returns back to its original end goal. Let's change the acceleration into this keyframe. Alright, so let's go to the Y value and have it maybe accelerate into this value. Like it's pulling on you. And then we'll have it maybe pop out of there, accelerating out will look kind of scary. Maybe a little bit less of a curve there. And soften the shape there. Let's hold shift to break the vector curve there. No, let's keep that a smooth shape. Let's smooth that out actually. And maybe let's hold it a little bit in this spot for a couple beats. I might want to slide all the values forward a bit to hold there. Whoa, get a super sharp acceleration from here to there. Too sharp for me. I'm going to slow that curve down a little bit. I feel like just getting out to this position from here feels a little unnatural. So yeah, because it just like ramps back up. So let's actually change our length of time to maybe 120 frames. Give us a little bit more time to add some more justifiable movements. Okay, let's take a look. So we get, let's go to preview, just geometry only on playback. Okay, I like that. I just don't like this part still. Yeah, because it's just too fast to go from here to this. So let's grab these 2 or 3 values and try to iron them out a little bit. So I'm going to grab them and maybe just smooth them out. Oh, don't do that. Let's try this. Maybe just the Y value. I'm going to go the other way. Let's flip the curve this way. Nope, bad call. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one. It's maybe no animation curve there. I guess a lot of it feels like it just has to hold in a position a little bit longer than what I'm doing in order to justify, you know, the accelerations out of a pose. Okay, I mean that feels pretty alive. Is this an attack animation or idle one? Both, because I'm not sure exactly how people are going to wear it. I'll probably just have both in like within one state. So I kind of maybe like want part of it to be idle and then part of it to be like attacking, and I'll kind of what will control that is nothing. It'll just be like it's just playing back an animation for the hands. Oh, hello. Well, today we're working with another AR developer known as Jeetesh Singh, and we're collaborating together. And what we're doing is making this. We're making an AR filter where you get to be DOC OCK, and yeah, and we're making these robotic arms right now so that you can control them with your back movement inside of an AR filter as like an AR fashion. We'll also be making a trench coat and the glasses that Dr. OCK wears in the movie. So yeah, right now we're just working on animating a single claw, and then I'm going to copy that animation over to the other 2 spots. In fact, let's just do that now. I'm curious to see how this feels. It's a good idea to see inspiration from the original character animation. Oh, definitely. Yeah, we can look at some character animations again from them. So here's from the original movie where we learned about this character's, well, I mean, it's originally a comic, but here's how the arms kind of move. They open and close quite a lot. So they're kind of ambient movement, you know, so. Oh, and they look around a lot, which is kind of important. It's like they have, it's like they're snakes. Yeah, let's go through. Oh, they did a good job matching lighting and shadows. Good work. Whatever animation studio did this. And they spin around a lot, but we'll do that once we get to the arm. Right now I'm mostly just working on the claw animation. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to continue, and let's go ahead and just copy this over to the other two spots. So first off, I'm going to turn off auto keyframe, and now what we're going to do is set a null object that has our claw and our joint systems. So let's make a new a null object. I'm going to call this claw1, or claw, or I'll call it C1, and we'll connect the joint and the claw under C1. Then I'm going to duplicate C1 and call that one C2. Then we'll duplicate that one and call that one C3. Now we're going to take C1. Oh, weird, it put the null object on the floor. I guess that's okay. No, actually that's not okay. I don't want to do that. Let's undo that. Undo, 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 undo. There we go. I'm going to try to move this C1 to match the bottom of the claw. So I'm going to go to a side and a top-down view of the claw and get that into that space there. In this case, it's dead center in our scene, and it's dead center in our X and Y axis. So that's perfect. Now that that's in that location, I'm going to grab it and parent it to C1. Then we're going to copy C1 and call this one capital C2. We'll copy this one, call that one capital C3. And now if we rotate each one of these 120 degrees, it should match really nicely with the other spots. So there's 120 right there. And then I'll grab C3 and push this out about 100 or 230, or is that the number? Oh no, not 230. Whoa, what happened? No! Did we just lose all of our animation? Ah, crap. Dang, well this one's a collaboration with Jeetesh. These weren't CG, these were actually robotic puppets with handles, and people handling them in most of the scenes with claw movements. That's so cool. That's awesome that they did puppetry for the movie. Love that. Okay, I screwed up something. I screwed up something to do with the bones here, because right now it's ignoring my claw. It's ignoring the oh, I know what's happening. It's because we moved that null object. It really didn't like that. Okay, so let's undo before we move the null objects. Okay, should be back now. I'm probably not going to have them close all the way. I mean, unless, is that cool? Like, should we have them close all the way? Will they close? I think in the movie they have kind of a, they're more like cylinders. Alright, so I made some mistakes. What I'm going to do is save this, and then do a file incremental save. And on this new increment, I'm going to just bake this animation out so that we're not risking losing it when I try to move something around. So I'm going to grab the claw and the joint, controlling the claw. I'm going to grab all this stuff here, and then we're going to go to function, and then go to, or no, maybe it's called frame, or which one is it? I thought it was either key or function. Not key. I think it's function. Oh, there it is. Function bake objects. There it is. And then I'm going to bake just the all the data that I can find. I'm going to get rid of create copy, bake from 0 to 120. Hit OK. All right. So that should make a nice little animation. Now we should be able to get rid of our IK tag, and it should still animate. Huh. That is interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's the skin. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we have our animation baked out, meaning it is safer. All the bones are safe to store that data. And now that it's stored this way, I think it's a safe time to move our to grab a null object and move that null object just underneath the thing. So I'm going to grab a null, grab our movement tool, and move that null, or I'll just move the null itself up to the top here. Okay, so I'm just placing it right in the center there. And now with that centered there, I'm going to try to parent this. Actually, we don't even need the joint anymore because it's baked. Yeah, so now it's just rotational data, super lightweight. I'm going to parent this to a null object and then copy that null 2 more times. The first one we're going to rotate 120 degrees. And then the second one we're going to rotate 240 degrees. Let's see if the animation stays. Yes! Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the movie's gonna be sweet. I can't wait for it too. So I'm gonna call this one C1 like I was trying to do before. Call this one C2 and C3 for that one. Great. All right, so we have our core animation done there. Very happy with that. But we're not done. Let's save our work. And I'm going to take all of this, C1, C2, and C3, and group these all together under another null object that we'll call head, because it's kind of like the head of a snake. So I'm going to move that null object pretty much to the center bottom of it. Yep, center bottom. Good, good, good. And then we're going to call this the head. And we'll connect C1, C2, and C3 as children of the head object. So now this gives us the ability to freely rotate and animate the head as it's animating its arms. So we can grab that head control. Where is it? And now we'll be able to, like, oh, weird, it's not connecting the bottom part. Oh, it's called object. My bad. Let's add an object under the head. There we go. So now, yeah, there we go. So now all of that moves together. So as it moves, it should still be able to animate. We go to display, filter, turn off geometry only. Yeah, so now we'll be able to animate it around and do some cool stuff. All right. And just as a reminder, we have already UV unwrapped the model. If you want to see the UVs, take a look right here. These are the UV coordinates for the bottom. That looks beautiful from Jeetesh. And then I separated this into its separate parts. Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is, claw. Ooh, actually, we might need to redo the UVs because I just realized these are now all one object and they're all just overlapping. So, whoops. Let me delete C3 and C2 again. And I mean, you don't need to do that, but I just think it'll be easier for me just to manually resize this onto one UV tile. So I'm going to resize this one over here. This is the middle segment surface of the arm. And then we have this section over here, which is like, oh, it's the top and bottom. That's cool. Make sure that's everything. can't use this tool. Okay, let's see this plus that. Good. Plus this. Move that over there. And then we have this. Nope, wrong tool. We have this plus that. And now we can resize that. All right, so this is going to be the tip of the, that's the tip. And then, hello, where are we? This will be the middle. There it is. I'm still getting used to all the new icons in Cinema 4D. They did change all of them because they updated their interface, but I don't have the muscle memory of the new icons all yet. So what used to be like a certain shape is different in my head now. All right, so in general, you want to keep your UV sizes relative to each other if they have to share the same edges or surfaces. In this case, I mostly want, I don't really mind if the differences are too much between them. We have a couple of options here. The main thing I was going to do was just resize this so that this fits the whole canvas more nicely, more closely, and really fills up that UV space. But if you feel that a certain part's going to be more visible, it doesn't hurt to make that side like larger. But I mean, these are going to be totally fine UVs. We can always just grab them manually and just enlarge them a little bit. Normally, if you're working on a character, you might want to keep these sizes identical to each other. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there's a couple of mirroring things we should do. So let me just go ahead and mirror those together. Yeah, so that actually just saves a little bit of UV space to mirror those. Because I was looking at the sides. The sides of it don't need to be separate objects. And then these ones are, yeah, almost everything else is mirrored as if it needs to be mirrored. Cool. I actually see more room to move the UVs around a bit, so I'm going to move these down here, and that gives us a little bit more space for these UV coordinates to space out over here. The larger your space is of your UV coordinates, the more, oh, nice with all the UVs in one texture size, can be optimized for textures. Exactly. Yeah, you want to, when you're designing for augmented reality, you don't want people to have to wait forever for stuff to load. So I like to try to consolidate my UV coordinates into like a single texture tile like this, because then it will perform really fast for them. It looks like we even have enough space up here that we might want to combine. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll keep this as a separate object. Yeah, we'll probably make this one like maybe 256 by 256 or 512 by 512 pixels. This one I'll try to keep around 1024 or maybe even 2048 if we have enough memory. Okay, let's save our work. So now that that's remade, we're going to go back into our standard context where we had this controller for us to rotate the arm. And then I'm going to copy C1, paste it in place, call that C2. And then with C2, we want to rotate that 120 degrees. Then we're going to copy C2, paste in place, and we'll call it C3. And this one we want to rotate this, I think 240 degrees, right? Or I guess it's 120 from the last one again. Great. Let's take a look at the animation. Awesome, animation is playing, it is baked out, and all of our UV coordinates are much cleaner with UV edit. Yeah, so then yeah, we got clean UVs, we have clean arms, and we have the 3 C's. Wait, where's the other C? Did I screw up something? Oh, there it is. It's already part of the head controller. So I'm going to drag C2 and C3 into the head controller. So now the single head can control the movement of all of the other arms and the base of the system. And we got all that animation. So let's save our work. we're going to move on to the next bit, which is connecting this to the arm. Where is the arm? So there's the arm. It's in this weird spot in purgatory. I'm going to zero out all of its dimensions and its positions. There we are. So there is the arm. And actually, I'm not even going to call this arm. I'm going to call this neck, because it's more like a snake in my head. All right, so we have the head is connected to the neck. Maybe. No. Maybe let's make the head a child of the neck. So the neck controls where the, the neck is going to control, wait, what's going on? Oh, I have polygon selected. The neck is going to control where the head goes. Yeah, great. And now what we're going to do is give the arm, or the neck, we're going to give this bones. So we're going to switch to an orthographic side view. A front or a right view is going to work here because it's pretty much the same. I might just do a front view. And I don't know how many bones to give it, but I'm thinking maybe one per each segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 bones. So let's go to the neck and go to our characters and click on the joint tool. And I'm just going to go increment by increment, holding control to set a bone. I'm aligning these based off of the grid that I have set up in Cinema 4D. With things that have a lot of little segments like this, it's going to need a lot of bones, otherwise the geometry will break when you're rigging and stuff. So I'm going to place that right there. Okay. So now we have all the bones set up inside of here, but they're not bound to anything. So that means right now when we go to rotate a bone, it is rotating the bone system, but it's not rotating the arm. So the way that we get it to do that is we first off move all of our bones just underneath the geometry that you want it to impact. I'm going to get rid of this root, I don't need that. And then I'm going to grab all the bones holding control and shift and connect my neck here. And then we go to character and we choose the character command known as bind. Now the neck is bound to the actual bones that are inside of it. This is a very important detail, because now we can, this will all come to life. And you're probably noticing that the head is not moving with the neck. That's because the head right now is currently a child of the neck, but it's not actually bound to the bone of the neck. So I'm going to make it a child of bone 14. So now if I move the bones, it's going to move the neck, and it's going to be moving the head of our character. We're going to get chain physics in the neck arm, right? Yeah, so I'm going to use a combination of chain physics. Wait a second, what just happened up there? You see this? Okay, I think I just screwed up something by changing the hierarchy. What if we make the head a child of joint 13? Does that change it? I think that fixes it. I don't know why. Let's double check. Oh, is it not bound anymore? Oh, okay, interesting. So what I might do instead is make bind everything together. So let me try this again. Wait, that's neck. Wait, I don't know what I did wrong. I'm gonna grab all this plus this, click on character command bind, and that breaks it. Okay, how about this? I might just import them as separate objects. I might just have the neck be a separate object from the head, and then once we're in Lens Studio, I'll attach the head here to the arm. But for now, we can maybe keep them separate. Is that the best approach? Does anyone have a better suggestion? Because I'm scared that I'll lose the animations. I'll give you an example. In Lens Studio, when I did my little test, one thing that kept happening is as I added more bones to the DOC OCK AR side of things, it started to detach from the neck itself. And that was when I had it all bound together. So I was kind of confused by why it started to separate. But I guess we'll just have to experiment. I'm not sure yet. So we'll just see. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is make sure that our neck can actually bend. So let me just double check the bones. Oh, they're not bending. So let's grab the neck, or let's grab all the bones, then grab the neck, and then click on character, and then click on bind. Awesome. And now when we move a bone, it should bend the neck. Finally, we click on joint 1 and joint 14, and we click on new character, and click on IK chain. An IK chain is now formed, and now we can bend the arm with a single control to make a really cool like serpent thing. Bind the base of the 3 arms to the neck bone. Bind the base of the 3 arms to the neck bone. Bind the... Oh, good call. Yes. Much better call. I think. I hope. Let's undo my rigging here. So you're saying take the head object and bind that to the neck so that this is no longer a part of the head. The arms are now separated. I'll probably call it claws instead of head. So now the claws are separate object to neck base. Or how about this? What if I just connect, I almost think we should just connect the neck base to the neck. So I'm just going to merge those 2 bits of geometry together. So let's do that. Connect objects plus delete. So now this is actually just one object. Let me make sure I didn't screw up the UVs. Go into our UV editor. Oh, that definitely screwed up the UVs. So let's find out where they are. So that's this one up here. We're going to make that one tinier to give it some space. And then we'll grab the other set of UVs. Oh, what are these? Oh, that's the sphere in here. Interesting. Okay. That's cool. I'll group that a little bit more closely together. Maybe we should give it a little bit more real estate than that. And the sphere is cluttering up my shot here. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then just do the UV packing algorithm to get these to be a little bit smaller, less disruptive. And rotate them. I don't really need much UV space for that sphere in the middle. What it really needs more space is this stuff. At least the outer side of it. Where is the outer side? Okay, so this is the outer side. That's the side that people will see the most. I tried a similar approach, but in Spark AR, multiple armature, animation hierarchy hasn't supported there, but I think Lens... Oh yeah, I was planning on putting this one in Lens Studio because it has the 3D body tracking. My plan was not to put this in Spark AR. I like them too, but they don't have support for body tracking yet. And that's what the customers want right now. They want body this and body that. So that's where I'm going to go. I like the body tracking stuff a lot. These ones don't really need a lot of space because these are like inside the cracks, but I really want a lot of space for the head here because that will give us more resolution when we're painting this in Substance Painter to have more details inside of the material property. So by giving us a little bit more space on the UV coordinate, we'll be able to get more resolution in there. We got a question from here is Juan, says, what's the best type of GPU unit or chip to have if you're planning to use these types of apps? I highly recommend any GPU that's an RTX series, starting with RTX 2070 or 2060 as the minimum, and then preferred RTX 30 series. But those are expensive, but they're fantastic for this kind of work. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. Yeah, there's some really good tools these days for exactly this kind of stuff. Not sure why this UV got moved like this. Move it up. Yeah, Jeetesh did such a good job modeling this because it's so clean and easy for the algorithm to unwrap because it was made with polish. Great work, Jeetesh. Okay, all right, so I just spaced out the UVs of the arm so that we just have them. And now it is rigged, I think, right? Did we rig it? Go back to standard. Oh, actually, I don't think it's rigged right now. That's fine. Let's save it. And then let's rig up this arm again. Looks like it lost all those bones. Don't know where the bones went. So we'll go to a side or a front view here. And I'm going to grab my bone tool and the character tag underneath joints. Oh yeah, no problem at all. So let's create some bones. I'm going to go off of those little increments I see on the side, trying to intentionally hit the edges that should bend and crease in. And fortunately for us, Jeetesh also killed it with that. Looks like the edges are pretty closely aligned with the centimeter marks that we're getting, replacing the bending in a spot that should bend in the model. That's important if you want your characters to deform properly when they're moving. I'll just move this one here though. Okay, so that's another 14 bones. And now we'll grab all of our bones and then delete our root. I always think the roots cause problems in the rigging software for me. So I'm going to grab all the joints in the neck here and then grab the neck, and then we'll click on character and then choose bind. All right, so now we have bones that should move the geometry. Yes. Yep, bones now move stuff. Great, and now we're going to create an inverse kinematics rig, but first I want to add my claw to the joint number 13 or 14 so that it moves with the joints. There we go. So I'm going to grab all of that, joint 1 to joint 14, and then click on character, create IK chain, and let's see if that works. Yay, it did. Does animation work too? Yay, it's kind of working. It looks like it starts to break. I'm not sure what's up with that, or if we have to rig first. It said bind the neck bones with all the models. It said first add bone between the neck and the base. Add a bone between the neck and the base. What do you mean? Bind the neck bones with all the models. So it is bound, but now what happens is as we're animating, it looks like my inverse kinematics rig, which has baked animation, is breaking the whole world of the filter. Yeah, I'm not sure why it breaks it so much. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to accept that the claws are gonna have to be added in separately, which I was trying to avoid, but I don't know. I don't have a solution. It's 14 bones for the neck. Add one more bone to connect the neck with the base. I don't know why that's confusing me so much. Because the base it's separate. It's a separate piece of the claws. Is that what you're talking about? You're saying connecting them with the claws? The claws are separate. They're separate entity from the from the other stuff. So you're saying it's 14 bones for the neck, add one more bone to connect the neck with the base. Okay, I don't know if I'm understanding what you're saying, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to click on the joint tool from the side here, and you're saying click on the joints, but as soon as I bind it, it keeps breaking my model, you know, or at least I think what's breaking it is the inverse kinematics thing. All right, I'll just try it. So I'm gonna go to the joint tool. I'm gonna connect bone 14 to the base of the model somehow, some way. Not exactly sure what I'm doing here. I'm gonna grab the character joint tool. All right, there's joint 15. I'm gonna connect joint 15 to joint 14. All right, and then you're saying, should I bind joint 15 to the base of the stuff? I don't know if this is going to work, but I'll give it a shot. So I'm going to grab my claws, put them there. Okay, put the jaws there, and it breaks. See what I mean? As soon as the claws are a child of that bone system, it breaks the whole model. So I think I'm gonna have to just add them separately somehow. I would like to have them in here, but they keep breaking for me, you know? Yeah, I don't have a solution here other than doing it separately. Huh. Yeah, because I don't want to lose the animation of the hands anymore. Don't make them a child of the neck. Oh, I see what you mean. No child of the neck. Okay. So without being a child of the neck, I'll try to bind it. Is that what you're saying? So I grab my geometry, and then I grab the bone, and then I click on character and choose bind. See, for me that means the bind button is grayed out. I can't bind something like this. I don't know how to bind something without it being a child of the geometry that I want it to bind to. You see what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I would like to know what you're talking about. Select all the bones. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna grab all the bones of the neck. Then click on the claws. And then you're saying click on character bind. It's still grayed out. Do I have to delete the rig that I already have? Because right now it is rigged. Jeetesh Singh says, if this doesn't work, I think you should try combining the claw and arms in Lens Studio separately. That's what I was planning on doing, but Babuna is saying that I can do this without doing that. They're saying that I could bind it right now. I'm not used to being able to do that myself. I've always done it separately for like a moving part. But I think it would be great if I can combine them, but I just don't know how. Buna says that this is strange. I mean, for me, I think it has to do with hierarchy. I don't know how I can bind to something that's not a child of that object without breaking the world. Yeah, I don't know how to work that. So I'm gonna keep moving forward, and it's gonna be a bummer, but I want to keep moving forward. if you have a solution to how to get those two parts. Actually, I should assess my old one. I made this one earlier and this one worked. Let me see what I did here. I forgot. So I have all of the bones of, wait, where's the claw? Yeah, actually I got it to work here. This one was working fine. I just put the claw as a child of the last bone like I did before. I guess the difference here though is, let me see, if I try to rotate a bone, does that break anything? What happens if I rotate bone 26? Or bone 8? Yeah, so this is what I want it to do, where I'm able to move the bones. Why you have bones for the 3 arms, even though you already baked the animation? Oh, do I not need it anymore that it's baked? I forgot. If that's the case, we can get rid of it. Let me double check. So you're saying I can get rid of this geometry? Or I can get rid of these bones because they're baked? Let's find out. I'm going to grab all of segment 1 and get rid of that. Grab segment 2, get rid of that. Segment 3, get rid of that. Oh, you're right. We don't need the bones anymore. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's great. So now, if it's just geometry, then we can apply it to joint 15. And I'll reskin it. So let me turn off the skin. Let's grab all the bones and the claw. Then end with the neck. And I'll click on character bind. Yay, it's not gray anymore. And now, oh my goodness, is this going to work? Let's hit play. Can I grab a bone of the character arm? Can we get this to work? A moment of truth. Let me filter that. Okay, so it looks like it's not breaking anymore. Thank you all so much for working through it with me on this one, Buna and Jeetesh, coming up with some solutions. Next, I just want to see, one more test, does an inverse kinematics on the neck, does this break the claws? We'll find out. So I'm going to grab joint 1, and then I'm going to grab the claws, holding control, and then I'm going to click on character, and then choose inverse kinematics, or create IK chain. And now we get this new goal, and let's see what happens when we move it. Okay, this is actually perfect. It looks like we can have our character animation now, and we can, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, this is exactly what I was wanting. Yay! Buna says it will work, and Buna is right. It is working. Thank you all so much for solving this problem. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, great. Now it's time to look at some animation reference. So let's save our work. Thank you so much for helping me get through this complicated setup. And let me pull up some more reference footage. So, I mean, you get a lot of bending and kind of a subtle mirroring effect of the geometry. It kind of mirrors the movements. They're very snake-like. I feel like looking up references of snakes is probably better, honestly. Yeah, these are just snakes. I don't think they're robotic arms at all. These are just snake movements. Everything about it feels like a snake. DOC OCK should be Doc Snake, because he's just got his 4 snakes attached to his back. They just happen to have a metal body. I am deaf, hearing impaired. Oh, I wish they could have live captions. If you're hearing impaired, I guess I'll just write down, you speak, not understand me. Say, I will try to explain my steps visually as best as I can. Make it accessible. So we have, I'll point out reference. So looking at the movement of the arms here. All right, so we're looking at the movement of the arms here. And then how that translates to this is looking at the movement of the hands And then now we have our new neck goal, and that will translate to movement in here. Every time. All right, so I'll just try to be as visual as possible. This is the pull vector where its turn is going to be based off of. So I'm going to start off and animate this thing in a kind of circle fashion. Okay, so we'll grab this thing, we'll set a value for its position in X, Y, and Z. I'll move forward in time to there. Oh, we should set a keyframe for the position. Actually, we'll just animate PX, X and Y for now. Make it a little bit faster. I think IK shouldn't influence all bones because few will be kind of fixed to our back with the rest of them movement. That's a great observation, Jeetesh. You can actually, inside of Lens Studio, you can decide to turn off the chain physics on parts of the bone. So I was only going to probably use the chain physics for the last 5 or 6 bones, so that these ones will stay rigid and very attached to the rest of the body. But right now I'm trying to bake some animation in so that even if someone's not moving around that much, we'll still get some nice ambient motion coming off of their body. Alright, so I got these placed here. I'm going to grab these keyframes and then go to that. Look at our keyframe data of this boxy looking thing. And we'll start off just by smoothing it all out. Or you can turn it to these sharp shapes and punch these up. Oh wow, thank you so much. And yes, this is Cinema 4D. Yes, Cinema 4D. Make a movie in human hand animation fake make movie. I don't understand. Alright, this one feels like the most unnatural movement right there. So I'm going to address that by maybe having that come forward. Or maybe actually that should come backwards because the arms are kind of opening up. Probably by this point in time they should be all the way at their mark. I'm going to smooth those ones out after all. And let's hold it a little bit longer. Cool. And let's have it just kind of dip forward a little bit when it completes that motion. Maybe have it hold on to that spot a lot longer. Whoa, what did I click? I clicked something weird. I don't know what I clicked. But it looks like there's two animation timelines now. I don't know if that was. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Alright, I'm going to move the IK joint a little bit here to kind of maybe pop it back as the arm retracts right around here. So setting a keyframe around this value here in its position, and then at this point in time pulling it back in a bit, maybe a lot further. Oh, it starts to rotate the pull vector, so we might need to be careful of that. Or start animating the pull vector as well. Welcome back. We are just working on the animation part of the claw. I'm going to maybe push these up a little bit. Actually, I'll split the difference with the vector cut, tangent cut, I mean. let's have this one strike. So right about here, let's have it retract. Sweet. We don't need to put lights in the scene. They don't translate very well in other programs, but I just want to add some lights into here for fun. It's fun for me. So I'm just going to add a couple of lights and turn up those lights temperatures. Great, I love this. And now I'm going to add some spinning. Yep, spinning. So I'm going to go to joint 4 and 5 and add maybe joint 13, maybe joint 14. Yeah, we'll go to joint 14 and we're going to create some spins. So I'm going to set a value for its rotation along the, which axis is it? Okay, it looks like it's the B axis. So we'll go there and we'll create a little spin right here. So now we'll get a nice little spin coming out of there. Did you ever try kit bashing in Cinema 4D? Yeah, I still do from time to time. Kit bashing, for those of you that may not be familiar with that term, is when you get a bunch of different asset packs and you start throwing them together to make some cool artwork. Yeah, I definitely still do that when a project needs it. Oh, I see a problem here. It's like breaking the pole vector. So maybe instead of rotating the claws separately, we might need to rotate the whole claw system. Wait, where's the head? Where's the, oh, it's the neck? No. Wait, where is the base? I have all the claws here. Oh, don't tell me I made this part of the neck. No. Oh, okay, I guess we could rotate the bone number 13. But that's going to create some breaking. Okay, other option is to go to the inverse Kinematics Rig and then play with the twist parameter. Rotate the whole claw system, it will solve the problem, I guess. Gotcha, the whole claw system. Okay, select this thing. Wait, where's rotate? Oh, axis, twist. How do you do that? I actually don't know how to rotate my whole claw system. You mean like just take like the neck joint? Is that what you're talking about? No. What do you mean? The whole claw system. I don't know how to rotate just the... Darn, now I'm kind of wishing I didn't attach the neck head like this. Because now I don't have the freedom to rotate the two together. I'll be strategic with it and no one will notice. You said rotate the neck itself. Yeah, when I do that, it rotates the whole system, but not along the bones. It's like rotating the whole. All right, I'm gonna fake it. I'm gonna fake it till I make it here. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I'm gonna do is fake the claw rotation. It means rotate the inverse kinematic. Oh, let me grab the inverse kinematic. That's my twist axis. All of these are not doing it. Inverse kinematics. Yeah, 3D. Oh, what's this? Was I on 2D inverse kinematics that whole time? Oh, that's frustrating. Actually, I mean, they both work, but display, advanced, threshold, keep goal, update goal, dynamics. Well, the connection you did seems to be too complicated to figure out how to do that. Okay, then I'm gonna fake it. It's my other strategy. When in doubt, I'm going to fake it. So I'm gonna go to the clause here, and I'm just gonna rotate this parameter myself. It's going to break the model, but I think it will still work if I use it sparingly. So, for example, in high speed, in high speed parts. So spinning out to that, we'll go ahead and give this a value change. So I'm going to go to clause, set its value, whatever that is. Awesome. And then it opens up. I'm going to have it also spin a bunch of times, and it's going to land back there a few degree turns later. Yeah, see, that's imperceptible. For most. Actually, that's maybe too many spins. I'll do slightly less spins. Yeah, something like that. And I'll do another spin when it's eating right around here. It looks like an eating motion to me. I know it's not actually eating anything, but it totally looks like that to me. And then we'll spin it back, and nobody has to know. To be honest, this also seems to work. Faking it actually looks good. Yeah, faking it's the secret. A lot of animations I make are actually just faking problems. It's a myth if you think stuff has to, an animation has to be mechanically perfect. It's not true. Not true at all. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, it looks fine. Like I can barely tell, and I can barely see it myself that it's not actually spinning the head. It's fine. Thank you all so much. Let's get in closer and take a look. Big screen here. All right. Yeah, let's go. We got our thing doing its thing. All right, let's bring this into AR, and I'll show you how we do chain physics on one arm, and then we'll spend some time doing some painting to get this thing to look really cool with like metal scratches and lighting, and I might bake a little bit of lighting onto the model, but let's get in here. So let's save. First thing, I just want to make sure that my animation's even working. So I'm going to delete my lights, poof and poof, and yeah, I think that's all. And then we end up not really using the second pole vector. Pole vectors allow you to change where it's bending from. So this is like when we control the IK chain, we're really just controlling its neck position. And then when you grab another pole vector, you're telling it where that position should be rotating from. It's really good for like elbows and knees and stuff. All right, so now what we're going to do is bring this animation into Lens Studio. So one way is to go to File, Export, and choose FBX. The parameters you can screenshot are this, but the key ones are making sure that your animation tracks are baking all your frames. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to save this in a new folder called Animation Test, or just Animation. Spelled that wrong. That's fine by me. And I'll make a new folder in here called Tests, because this is where I'm going to be testing out different rigs if they break and stuff. Exporting that FBX file should be pretty quick. Don't know why it's just circulating between 0 and 1%. That's kind of bizarre to me, to be honest. It's only 120 keyframes. Huh. I think I'm seeing an error. Saving. Okay, that was weird. I don't know if I don't know what that was. I don't even know if it's gonna work. Seeing it do that weird little thing. I was attempting to open it up. Okay, so it doesn't work inside of the Microsoft View, but it still might work inside of Lens Studio. So let me just try to pull that in. We'll make the whole scene from scratch, so don't worry about this project already being kind of halfway there. I'll show you how you get there. You said, did you try the FX Sim and Cinema 4D? They are quite good. No, I haven't tried the FX simulations. But that would be dope too. Okay, so I'm going to go and make a new project from template. The template category is called chain something. Chain physics. Chain physics are sweet. Take a second to load here. So chain physics will place simulations that the user can drive by using your filter. So they actually get to control the parameters, and their movement affects the joints. So what I want to do is bake some animation in there, like what we did, and then on top of it, I want to add a little bit of live simulation data, so that the person wearing the filter can influence the motion of it a bit. So I'm going to bring in this FBX file and make it a child of the head binding for just the testing purposes, and hit import. And give it a couple seconds to load here. Still loading, still loading. It says it was a success, so that's a good sign down here in the log. I don't think it's that much data, so I'm a little surprised with it taking this long to load, but it kind of took a while to save as well. We'll see what happens. All right, I see the FBX file there. Okay, I see some stuff going on. Let's see if we can find where it's living. Oh, first off, it's gigantic, so we'll need to adjust that right away. So I'm going to go to my prefab, and I might just multiply this by about 0.1 to get the scale down properly. It looks like it didn't register that. It didn't register that. Let me try this again. Oh boy, we're getting some problems. What are all these? I'm gonna turn off these. I don't know what all this stuff is. And I don't know what's going on. Let me go to the prefab. It's not letting me touch the transform controls. So that's at 0.1. What about 0.01? Okay, so good to see it totally breaking. Let's see if we can fix some stuff. So these are all, wow, what are all these? Oh crap, I think this is data that I didn't get rid of from Jeetesh's file. I think that was from their rigging. So it might be getting confused between the two rigs. Is it possible to combine the neck animation with chain physics? Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm mostly testing right now. I think I should be able to combine our animation from Cinema 4D over here. We should be able to combine this animation that we made with the neck physics. That's what I'm hoping to. With the chain physics. I'm hoping to do that. Haven't tried it, so it's we're kind of troubleshooting here in real time. And I see some problems clearly, so I'm trying to see what things we can resolve. Let me take it off of the head binding for now. I just want to see it not influenced by anything. So looking at it, I'm not totally sure what is wrong with the data. So I'm going to rotate it around and just try to debug this. Because it looks like, I think it has to do with the IK stuff not translating very nicely. So one solution that I can think of off the top of my head is to bake the animation down and remove all IK chains. It says turn off link icon next to the scale. Oh, turn off link. Oh, I would want to link it though, because I want to scale it up and down uniformly. And let's see, what is the main problem? Let me turn off the claw. Okay, so that was a good test. Everything broke. And now that gives us room to kind of keep creating. So I'm going to go to the takes manager. I think all this data was what was causing it forever to load. So I'm going to grab all this stuff, right click and delete this data, because I think that was what the loading problem was. Next thing I'm going to change is we're going to bake out the IK simulation. I'm not going to import an IK tag into there from Cinema 4D. So I'm going to grab my entire scene here, as much of it as I can. And then I'm going to go down to my animation keyframes and see the whole frame range is about, from whatever to 120. We're going to go to function, go to bake object, and I'm going to bake my expressions, clean tracks, position, rotation, and let's even do PLA data and hit OK. And looks like a lot of stuff's breaking, so I think we can delete the IK tag now. And we broke everything. That is definitely not what I wanted to have happen here. That is the opposite. Okay, so that wasn't the right approach. What if we just rig, or what if we just bake these joints, not the claw and everything? So I'm just going to grab these joints in the neck here, minus the claw, then go to function, bake objects, bake all that. Okay, I think that fixed it. So we already baked the claw, so we can't rebake the claw, but I just baked just the neck. And now I think I can delete the IK tag, I hope. Yep, and now we should be able to delete, oh no, actually I'll keep the bones in case we can influence them. Alright, so this should be a totally different file now. Need to turn on wireframe. So this should be a totally different file. I think we'll have better luck with this animation. So let's go to File. Actually, I'll just grab. Do we need goals anymore? What happens if I delete a goal? Okay, so it looks like we don't need the goal. So I'm just simplifying the file. Got rid of our animation takes. We got rid of our goals. We got rid of our IK tags. So now it's just geometry. Yes, you can keep the bones. Okay, sweet. Thank you, Buna. All right, so let's save our work. We're going to file, export. I'm going to export this FBX file, and we'll save it in our animation test folder. This is now test number 2. We'll hit save. Great. We'll minimize Cinema 4D. We'll jump back into Lens Studio. I'm going to delete the current one because it's just eating up so much memory. And we're going to replace that with FBX version 2. I'm going to attach it to the head simulation binding. I don't know if I did, I might have done something wrong again right there. Maybe I didn't drag it. Let me try it again. Oh, hit import. Cool, it's loading. Okay, much faster, much better. And let's see, it's gigantic still, which is fine. We're going to multiply it by 0.01. Awesome. Super awesome. Yeah, that's like totally working. For the most part. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like the claw is not opening at all. We got the claw spinning, but the claw opening animation is now dead. Bummer. I definitely wanted that data. I spent time animating that. I definitely wanted to play with that data. So let's take a look at what can be done. First off, I'm just going to rotate this forward to make her look strange. We'll just set this to a 90-degree turn on the y-axis. Not a 900-degree turn, just a 90-degree turn. There we go. And then I'm also seeing this weird pull here. I don't know what this pull is coming from. Yeah, I don't know what joint in the system is responsible for this one vector that's like off in another galaxy. And it looks like rotating at 90 degrees killed the claw. Export them separately. Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, let's export these separately. Yeah, yes, good call. What's with this weird stick with the claw? Not sure yet. I'm in the debugging phase. Yeah. It's most likely. Actually, I have no clue. Usually, I've seen that happen when a bone isn't being heard. So I'm gonna grab my claw and separate it away from the neck here. And then I'm going to temporarily delete the claw and just export this neck. So go to File, and I'm even going to export it. No, yeah, I'll keep it as an FBX if we can. Go into our animation test folder. We'll save this as test number 3. Great, and then I'll go undo, delete the neck this time, and then we'll grab just the claws. And we'll go to File, Export as a FBX separately. We'll call this one under Animation Test. This is for test number 3-1. Cool, 2 separate FBX files. Then we'll go into here, let's delete our nonsense. So delete that and delete that. And then let's import first the stem, the neck of the thing. Okay, there it is. I'm going to grab the prefab and make it a child of the head binding. And then we'll take that data and scale the P down to 0.01. Okay, so I think that's a good sign. We got the data in here without that weird pull vector. VFX artists create something creative in 30% of the time and debugs the thing for the rest of the time. Correct. Yeah, for those of you that are wondering like what all the glitches are, it's the truth. Most of the time when we're designing stuff, it is broken. And the result that you see at the end of the movie, in the movie or the TV show or the effect in the video game was like our least bad result. Most of doing VFX work and 3D work is breaking things and failing over and over and over again, and for months, and then eventually you get something that looks really good. All right, so I just imported the claws as a separate prefabricated asset. I'll put it next to the joint system there. Then we're going to grab the scale of it and multiply it by 0.01. Okay, so it's kind of good. Looks like it's not really... The animation of the claw is not playing at all. Kind of sucks. So, let's make it a child of joint 15. Which is like a little bit better, but certainly not perfect. Okay, there. So I just kind of eyeballed, trying to eyeball where it would attach with not very much success here. Oh, he said select PLA. 2 bones influencing the same vertex, or yeah, 0 weight paint influences untied to a bone. Oh yeah. So you're saying select PLA when I bake it, or? Darn, yeah, we lost that data. Or maybe we didn't lose the data, but I just don't have that data at the moment. Hitting some walls. Let's undo. I'm going to try to reconnect them again and just try one other option of exporting this as as a GLTF file. Sometimes I've had luck like that with the morph set to PLA. So I just want to see before I go and try to reinvent everything. In test number 4 here, we're just trying a different format entirely, not even an FBX file, just a GLTF file. Let's attach that to the head finding. Let me import that data. Still loading. Oh, we crashed it. Okay. Let's try opening up Lens Studio again. Hello. Copy it to a new file. GLTFs mostly don't work in Lens Studio. I've had a different experience then. I've had them work a lot for me in Lens Studio. But maybe I haven't really done a lot of rigging with GLTFs in Lens Studio. Let me see how it even looks in Babylon.js. Throw it in there. Oh god, that looks awful. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna work as a GLTF. Let's ignore that. Darn it! What do we do? We cleaned up the data. It's so simple, I thought, but it's not simple. You go to edit. I have made a video tutorial on how to export complex animation. Yes, I actually have seen your video, and it was helpful. Excuse me, and I might need to watch it again. Alright, let's start off from a template. In this case, I'm starting off with chain physics so that I don't have to copy the scripts in there. Giving it some time to load. Switch it to our preview, animated preview. Okay, and what are we doing? Okay, so I'm going to try to get this out of here again. Maybe to the time when we still kept the bones, because I want to be able to add a second layer of animation on top of these bones. So let's try this again. So we're going to go to File, Export, FBX. This time I'm going to uncheck stuff that might be a problem. Bound joints only, I don't know. And we'll do No Takes Manager, Bake materials. I don't know. Turn off lights. I don't know. I hit OK. I'm just guessing here. Doctor animation test version 5. Save it. Great. Bring this into Lens Studio version 5 here. Drag it into our head binding. Import this data. Oh, you said I should do it as a GLTF? I will try that in a moment. Just pull this in 0.01. Okay, so I mean this is close, but it looks like we're losing all the animation of the hand, and we get that weird pull vector that happens now because of it not having a bone. Gotta think about this one. Maybe I should go back to when we had bones inside all parts of it. Or no, let's do the GLTF thing first, like you're saying. So we'll go back to that, go to File, Export, GLTF. Give this version 5, save it, and then bring it to Lens Studio. And let's hide this one first. Let's see, are we going to crash Lens Studio here? Let's take a look. Testing in 3, 2, 1, release. Import. Oh crap, that crashed it. Okay. Well, hitting a wall here, hitting a couple of walls, as I do. I'm going back into a previous version of the Dr. Octopus. Ideally, we have one that still has the claw bones. Or was the idea to just do this part separately? Yeah, it would be great if this would just come out the way it appears here in the new thing, but I won't have the answer here. Program crashing is really a pain in the A. Yes, it is. It's just part of the not rigged, claw animated. Oh, that's not it. Open. Oh, weird. Look at that. The pull vector's in there. Let me see what that... I don't even know what that is. What polygon is that? Can't even tell. Huh. Crap. Do we not have the hand data anymore? I'm starting to fear that we don't have that data. Right click on the mesh in the objects panel, select rigging, select bake cache. Try this. Right click the mesh in the objects panel. Alright, right clicking the mesh in the objects panel. And you said click on mesh in the objects panel. Going to look for a mesh option. I don't see anything yet. Let me start to search for it. Right click, you're saying mesh. Yeah, nothing pops up for mesh. Try this, right click. This is gonna be sick once it's all figured out. Hey, thanks Joey. I'll be excited when it's figured out too, because I definitely want people to be able to wear this and then, you know, be controlling these robotic arms on their backs. Oh, you said go to rigging. Okay, so you're saying right click on the thing, then go to rigging, and then you said click on, you said bake cache. So let's go to rigging, go to, there's a point cache option. I think that's the closest thing. They might have renamed it. All I see is a point cache option. So I'm gonna click on it, see what happens. Point cache. And then I'm going to look at the thing. You can store a state of your animation, looks like. So I guess I'm gonna click on that, store state. I can loop it, I can bake it, I can calculate it. I guess I'll enable this, and then I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't used this tool. What do you do with this, Buna? Oh, you say click calculate? Okay, calculate. Whoa. So I clicked calculate, and it did a bunch of stuff, and now it looks like it's super broken. Maybe it's a doubling effect. So should I delete something now, or is it broken? I clicked calculate and it just destroyed the animation. This happens all too often. But it's weird because it looks like it's storing the data properly. Did you check something? I did check something. Let me go back. I checked enable. Let me not do that. So we'll go to rigging, and then you're saying, okay, so I click on rigging, click on point cache. I won't tag anything. I'll just click on store state and click calculate. Okay, I did it, and it looks like it broke again. I don't know what this is doing. Should I use a deformer, or? Yeah, this looks way worse. Cache is at 100%. Deselect everything. Okay, let's back up. Alright, I'm not going to select everything. I'm just going to grab the neck and then go to objects, or go to tags, rigging tags, go to point cache, grab the point cache. I have to click on store state, then I click on calculate, and then it breaks it. Oh God, I tried calculating it twice. I think you're helping me break it right now, which is great for testing, not great when I'm trying to get this to run now. I mean, after calculating, deselect the objects. Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm going to grab the neck and then click on rigging tags, go to the point cache, store the data, calculate that data, then deselect everything. And when I do that, it looks like it's still very, very broken. Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's the skin tag? Oh! Oh, the skin tag. I just turned off the skin. Maybe that was the issue. Let me delete skin. I don't know what we just did, but let's just see. I'm going to go ahead and export this as an FBX file. I'm going to call this one version 6. And this time I'm just going to try to open up version 6 right back inside of Cinema 4D just to see if this data even came along. Ah, no, it's still super broken. Damn. Oh, the skin's there. Let me delete the skin. Okay, that kind of works. Oh, but then if you delete the skin, then the mesh doesn't deform to it anymore. I broke it all. All right, I might have to stop the stream here. I'm hitting a super wall right now. I don't actually know what is the right step because I'm trying to follow the steps I did with my own personal one, but I also didn't have as complicated of a as a rig setup. So let me just see if even just this data by itself can even be brought into Lens Studio. Like if I did nothing else, like this is super basic. Does this data even come in with the IK tag on? Because I don't even know. I'm gonna export this one as an FBX and give this another test. Call this one test number 7. And we'll go back into Lens Studio. Oh, it's crashed, so I gotta open it again. Yeah, I might need to end this, folks, because I'm kind of hitting too many walls. I need a break. I usually like to do the live streams when I have a working process, but I am hitting a wall here. But anywho, let's try to bring this in anyway under head binding. Okay, looks like it's bound to the head now. And then let's bring up a character, person, who's also moving a little bit. There we go. And then let's find that segment of the prefab. Go to the scale, multiply it by 0.01. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, well, mission failed for now. This was part 1 of a thing. I thought we were going to be able to bring this in and start painting and stuff, but I don't want to start painting this asset until I know the rig works. If the rig doesn't work, it doesn't make sense to start painting the model and giving it any more love and attention until it works. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live streams on YouTube and Twitter, or YouTube and Instagram, and then maybe later today we'll come back to it. But for now, I think I just need a break, reset my mind, come back with some new solutions. But at least you learn how to animate. I mean, this thing will work fine in other rendering pipelines, but right now this doesn't appear to be working for AR yet. But that will be a goal to excuse me, that'll be a goal to fix in another version. The other option is I could just not animate it at all and leave it all to proceduralism. What do I mean by that is I'll just show you really quickly before I wrap up. I'm going to delete all animation on the I want to keep the claws. I want to leave the claws alone, but everything else I want to delete the animation on this. Oh, but we baked it, didn't we? Okay, that was done. I can't go back. No, I can't even do my quick little test. Shoot. Yeah, we might end up having to restart a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, no problem, Rama Viaz. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong with the ending, but yeah, because everything else was working pretty smoothly, but we definitely aren't in a smooth spot now. So I'll just show you this last thing really last thing is I'm going to delete this animation, but keep all of the data, or keep all of the rigging and stuff, this whole hierarchy, and go to our animation keyframes and delete all of it, including the claw. Oh wow, that one's super broken. No. Oh, because I deleted the skin on that one. No. Creating all these new problems. Let's undo. Does that stick with it? Okay, that sticks with it. And then does the... Can we go to the keyframes? I'm going to delete all the animation on this. I mostly just wanted to delete it on the joints, but leave the claws alone. So let me click on unfold all. So the claws are down here at the bottom. I want to leave those untouched, but all the data above them I want to change. So I'm going to grab all of this keyframe data and delete it. So we should just have the claw. Ah, man, that screwed up everything, baking it all down. Oh. Alright, I really don't have a solution here, and I might have made a really bad mistake by deleting or instancing it to a new project. So we might have lost a lot more than I'm aware of. Yeah, we might have to start over from scratch. Let's see this one. That's the skin layer. Okay. So what if we just deleted the animation really quickly? Does it break if we delete all this animation? Okay, good. It stays still. And there's no takes, right? Oh, this one has all those takes, all the heavy data. Get rid of all this garbage. This thing is making the file size way too heavy. Or not even heavy, it's just like it's making my computer slow to store all these takes. I don't know why it has all these takes in here. I wish I could control Z, but Cinema 4D by default doesn't allow infinite control Z's. I think I can only undo 40 times. I definitely have made more than 40 changes since then. Ah, we froze Cinema 4D. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna stop. I'm taking a sign from the Cinema 4D gods, which are like, bro, stop. Take a break. This was educational with rigging and stuff and best practices, but now you need to take a break. You need to eat some food, take a breather. So I'm gonna end the stream right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll continue this later, but I'm gonna end it for right now. All right, bye friends on YouTube and bye friends on Instagram. I'll hopefully see you soon as we fix these problems.